Hello and welcome, LCS fans, to finals weekend of the 2020 spring season. Done differently than we've ever done it before, but gentlemen, the games and the goal of the teams all remains the same. We've got one best of 5 today to determine who will challenge Cloud9 tomorrow in our final bout. Mark, how you feeling coming into this weekend?
I'm super excited. Feels like we're finally getting the culmination of what we've been expecting all split long a little bit, where C9 will finally get the chance to put their end stamp on the season. The only question to figure out is who's going to be trying to stop them from doing that in the finals, which we get to figure out today.
Yeah, lots of postseason business to take care of, but before we get to that, there's one last bit of regular season business that we need to take care of. So let's kick things off with the announcement from the LCS yesterday, and that's this split's Honda MVP.
With the 9th pick of the North American Scouting Grounds draft, Cloud9 selects Blabberfish 2.
Blabber, you know, sitting behind one of the best players in all of the LCS. Now he's got big shoes to fill with a starting spot.
I will run, I will rise, I will grow. I will climb to the place I belong. I will fight like the world's never known. Like the world's never known.
Blabber's found the starting wave. Resonating strike. Good lord, man. Shelly is stolen.
And here comes the re-engage. The kick blast just to guarantee it. This board top 10. Kick back of the Warthog. Nicely played by Blabber.
Doesn't matter that the exit happened. He's going in. Oh!
Through the smoke, through the ash, through the flames. And it burns like a fire in my veins.
Shuffle just short on Blabber.
In the end, you remember my name.
Blabber. Damn, Blabber. Here comes the Pantheon.
This is how aggressive this combination can be.
Unstoppable impact line goes Blabber. Make it a double kill. Make it a soul on top. The damage is there. They are gone. Blabber plays this Gragas so aggressively.
Flash of the wall, hold backwards. They have the follow through.
He is such an aggressive player. Blabber starting things off the ult. There's your wombo, there's your combo. Blabber goes over the wall and he is unstoppable. He's not back here. C9 says, what's up? Oh my god! Kid, you gotta be kidding me, Blabber!
Feels super good to finally be able to start in the LCS.
Hey LCS fans, my name is Philip Lee from Honda. I hope everyone's healthy and staying safe during these challenging times. Honda has always believed in the power of dreams and long celebrated the passion of gamers everywhere. As the proud automotive partner of the LCS, we are here to honor an athlete whose skilled performance and determination to win have set him apart from the rest and helped this team to achieve one of the best records in LCS history. With that, we are thrilled to present your 2020 Spring Split Honda MVP, Cloud9's Blabber. Congratulations.
Hello everyone, I am here with the 2020 Spring Split Honda MVP. It's Blabber! Congratulations on taking the award. Now, Blabber, for you, we just have to start with this because this Spring Split was your first split as a starter. Cloud9 comes in and dominates everyone in Spring, and now you're moving on to finals with an MVP award. So is this what you expected when you started up in Spring?
I mean, I definitely didn't expect either of those, MVP or us being this dominant. I knew coming into the split that we'd be really strong, a lot stronger than people thought we would be, but we thought that Team Liquid would probably be a lot stronger than they showed the split, and that we'd be able to, like, they'd be our biggest competition. I mean, obviously that didn't happen, and I definitely wouldn't say I expected to get MVP either. I was hoping to perform really well coming off of Svenskeren's MVP performance, but I didn't expect to get one myself.
I mean, let's be clear about it. You deserved it. When we looked at all the stats throughout the split, you have been leading in KDA, and not just by a little bit. I think you've doubled the next closest player. So, I mean, what is it like for you to be so unanimously at the top in the jungle right now?
I mean, I'm fairly surprised that my KDA is that high compared to the other junglers, since I'm pretty sure I have 50% of our team's deaths total. Like, yeah, I probably have half of them. But I think us winning a lot has a lot to do with me having insane stats. I'm sure all my teammates have really good stats in their roles too. And I don't know. With my aggressive playstyle, I thought I'd die more, but I guess not.
Listen, you put anyone's KDA next to Sven's KDA and they're going to look a little shoddy. But kind of speaking to your other teammates, everyone there, you know, picked up multiple Player of the Week awards. So does it help you as a jungler having just these incredibly strong laners to make your job easier?
I mean, as a jungler, it always feels great to have lanes that are either like winning or pushing. And it really enables me to do what I want, since I really do like to play in the enemy jungle and have a lot of freedom in the early game to fight or just do whatever I want. It feels really nice to have like winning bot, mid, and top, so that I can go in with backup. And I think, I mean, specifically Niski, I think me and him have been playing really well together as a duo. I think he moves a lot and sacrifices some of his lane to help me get an advantage. And I guess also my stats are up because I do take a lot of his farm so that we could move together, or like he'll move and I'll catch a wave instead of normally it's like the jungler moves, right? And then the mid laner catches a wave. But since he's stronger or has different timings than me, we do stuff like that I think is super good, but also makes me look better.
Now, for you, your last finals game that you played in was Game 1, 2018 Spring Split against Team Liquid. And now, that was you as a rookie. Now you're a more seasoned player, starter on a team. So what's going to make this finals different from the last?
I mean, I'm feeling a lot more confident going to this finals. Specifically for the last finals, I was coming off a really poor semifinals performance against TSM, where me and Jesse got subbed out. We were a duo at the time, and I thought he was playing really well, but since I was playing really poorly, we didn't really have I felt bad for him because, I mean, we got subbed out pretty much because of my poor performance. And going to finals, I think Reaper wasn't as confident in me, since, I mean, at the time I was a rookie. My first playoffs, I was super nervous, and I didn't really scrim that much that week. But we ended up starting anyways, going into the finals against TL. And I mean, that final specifically, knowing if you play poorly, you get subbed out. Obviously, doesn't feel too great for you. But I think going to this finals, I'm feeling really confident. I feel like I performed pretty well so far in the playoffs, and I'm just hoping to have a strong performance again in finals. And I think we all know that if we play our best, then we should be able to take this title easily.
Well, Blabber, thank you so much. And once again, congratulations on taking MVP for the 2020 Spring Split. That's it for us here.
Thank you very much, Aveli. Blabberfish, to fill the shoes of last split's Honda MVP and to come right back in on the new roster and achieve that award himself, Jack, I don't think enough can be said about the performance of Blabber over this split.
Yeah, I think there were massive expectations on him coming in, having to replace a former MVP, and we talked a lot before the split about how confident C9 must be, you know, what could Blabber be in the future of League of Legends, and I mean, in terms of first full split as a starter, it's one of the best. I think it's well-deserved, won the MVP. His all-time LCS win rate, I think, is at 83% now. Obviously, 17-1 this split, so improved throughout the split, and it's just been great to watch.
Yeah, I think for me, what I look at is just the numbers that he's putting out. You know, MVP is one of these awards where everyone has a little bit different of interpretation of what they're looking for. For me, it's not just about best theoretical player every split. I look at what you actually did, not who else could have done it, but who did it. In this split, he had double the kills of anyone else. You know, statistically, he was kind of downplaying how good he did in that interview, where he's like, oh, my KD wasn't that great. It was still above 6. It was still incredibly high. His deaths were not that high. It was, 23% death rate, which is not that insane for a jungler or anything like that for his team. So he was absolutely incredible. Don't let him, be humble. Okay, I'm not going to let him do that. He killed this split. He slaughtered every other jungler. It was absolutely groundbreaking. And he still has the highest win rate of any player ever with the amount of games that he's played.
Yeah, probably. I want to come to you more on a postseason focused look at Blabberfish, because he even cited the first time around going to the postseason with Cloud9 that he was very green, very much a rookie, and that perhaps there wasn't a ton of faith yet in him and how he would perform in the postseason. He even said he felt a lot of pressure. I think this time around, receiving this award and just based on his performance, he looks a lot better coming into tomorrow.
Oh, yeah. And I think after they had so much pressure to go this 18-0 split this season that now they're in playoffs, I think they're actually pretty comfortable playing online now. And if they happen to drop a game, it doesn't seem like it phases them at all. When they played against Evil Geniuses last week and they lost the game, they bounced back instantly. And the thing is, Blabber's been really consistent. And that was something that I think held him back in the past. But now that he's kind of overcome it completely, I think this is going to be a playoffs he's going to remember as being maybe too easy for him.
We'll see.
Okay.
We'll see.
All right.
I'll take too easy.
We'll wait for
over
tomorrow to get the final word on that one. But in case you missed it, Riot's newest card game is releasing at the end of this month. And if you missed it, here's that release trailer.
My axe is ready. Pledge yourself to the shadows. They will bleed for nonsense.
A long path to get here. Don't hold back!
Now, Legends of Runeterra launches April 30th on iOS and Android mobile devices, but you can also play now on PC at playruneterra.com. Of course, we got some hard-hitting League of Legends heading your way today, but after the finals tomorrow, make sure to stick around for the finals after party on watch.lowlesports.com, where Y2K will be DJing a set accompanied by the visual stylings of the Sushi Dragon. And I saw Sushi tweet out just yesterday how hard he has been working over the past week or two on this after party show. So I'm quite excited to see what he comes up with.
Yeah, I mean, he's done a couple of different productions now for different people. Travis had his award show done by Sushi Dragon, and it's a trip. If you've never seen him, get ready, because it's unlike anything else that's ever been on.
I was going to say, I don't think you could properly explain to someone who's never seen a Sushi Dragon show or stream what he actually does. So if you're clueless, just tune in tomorrow.
You just hype me up, Mark.
You won't be disappointed.
Yeah, I mean, it's surreal. It is definitely out there.
It's weird.
Okay.
It's always weird, but awesome. Okay, let's turn to the championship qualifier, because that's why we're all here today, by taking a look at how FlyQuest and Evil Geniuses ran the bracket to get to this point. People will remember that these two teams have already met in the postseason. It was the first matchup for both squads, with Evil Geniuses taking the series 3-1. Of course, at that time, FlyQuest was swapping top laners. You look to the losers bracket, where FlyQuest had to fight their way through Golden Guardians and TSM to now achieve that rematch against Evil Geniuses. For Evil Geniuses, they did fall down to Cloud9 in a 3-1 series, but showed that the gods can bleed. And so again, doing battle here in a best of 5 against FlyQuest, winner moves on to tomorrow's best of 5 to challenge our top dogs.
Hey man, both these teams are happy with the new playoff format, because otherwise FlyQuest would have been out in semifinals and Evil Geniuses would have lost in the finals to Cloud9. So we're thinking, hey, yeah, let's retool, let's continue to improve. And I think FlyQuest in particular, having 8 games since their defeat to Evil Geniuses in that first round, have improved a lot, not only in the top lane, but just in the overall way that they're understanding the game and kind of moving around the map. They do look a lot stronger than they did 2 weeks ago.
You hit the nail on the head. They've had a long journey through the postseason. Let's take a look at how it's gone for FlyQuest so far.
The ulti's popped, here comes the fight. A duck to the back line finds some damage, pulled together with Face Breaker, but Solo drops the start. Knockups come through, though, the dive into the back line. It's a 1-for-1 so far afterwards. Bang low on health, the follow through is in. A triple kill for the Azir. PowerOfEvil is here to stay. He's right back in. FBI gets chomped up. PoE pops Zonia's, jumps right back out. Teleports now come in as well. Here comes a 5-on-5, and PoE will simply not be stopped. That's 2 kills picked up. Give him the 3rd, give him the 4th. The health bars are running down. Turtle grabs himself 1. There's the 4 kills picked up. And poor Golden Blue can only sit and watch as his team is already dead.
IgNar looking again. IgNar going in, and they've got Bjergsen. He just keeps finding them. FlyQuest support has just been MVP caliber for this team this game. But who's that? It's Bjergsen with the teleport into the base. The back door. He's got the minions. He's got exactly what he needs.
Another kill, another dragon. Dardoch? Is he going to go for the steal?
We aren't done yet. Dardoch going in. Cataclysm's going to trap Turtle, who's now under positional pressure from Kobbe, who's trying to make sure he maintains the angle to fire into Turtle here. Dardoch going to be forced to run away. The Drake is very low. Kobbe now being chased down. As Baron is down to 1,000 HP, it is going to be secured, nearly stolen away, but nearly's not going to count as Broken Blades in the middle of everybody, not able to rely on the Bjergsen ulti. Now Bjergsen going to be chain CC before he's able to even ult himself. Both solo laners of TSM are down. Broken Blade moving forward. There's your follow-up from Biofrost. They're just making it look easy at this point, and honestly, how could it not be with the lead they have? Bjergsen will grab the kill onto PowerOfEvil. Everybody except IgNar is dead. Broken Blade is still behind the pit. Solo and Santorin still marching forward. PowerOfEvil has decided to put it on his own shoulders to invade the enemy jungle, kill the enemy jungler, bring in the cavalry, take down Broken Blade, and he is annihilating TSM. FlyQuest have taken everything. The inhibitors are going, Bjergsen's going, he's just about gone. The exhaust makes it so he can barely move. The Nexus turrets will fall. TSM can do nothing but look on as FlyQuest put the finishing touches on this game.
Now, FlyQuest has fought tooth and nail to get to this point, but probably I think that's actually something that we should look into a little bit further. They are, in essence, the most practiced team in the postseason when it comes to postseason games played.
And I mean, that's great because the end of their regular season was not that hot. So once Cloud9 actually didn't pick them for their opponent to playoff, everyone was kind of confused on the desk. We were just, why wouldn't you pick FlyQuest? They look so weak. But since then, they figured out their top lane situation, which is paramount because we've seen how they play early game. They can go through PowerOfEvil. We've seen their first play this playoffs was actually through IgNar. So they play through mid, they can play through bot. But once Solo started becoming more like solid on their team, they actually started going top a lot more. So it's a much more interesting team because they have a lot more threats. And I think they're finally hitting their high. So all this like playoff practice that they got is really paying off.
Yeah, I mean, they've been shaped by the gauntlet that they've had to run. Mark, what's your overall take on the way that FlyQuest has leveled up so far throughout the postseason?
I think one of the things was we've seen a bit of a return to prominence for both IgNar and PoE. Early in the split when they were crushing it and they looked like one of the best teams, IgNar was a huge playmaker getting all over the map, and PoE had an early game presence, which is something that has come and gone over different phases of his career, and so it's come back a little bit in the postseason where IgNar's having a lot of impactful counter picks. He's playing a lot of hook champions, Pike and Blitz, and then PoE, even when he's on Azir, is still getting involved early on and using his shuffle aggressively in laning phase, which he was able to get some kills on different people doing those kinds of plays.
We'll talk matchups in just a moment. Before we do, I want to do the same exact thing we just did for FlyQuest, this time for Evil Geniuses. Let's take a look at how Evil Geniuses has made it to this point in the postseason.
Turtle and Solo want to stop Jiizuke and Svenskeren. They're going to certainly try. He's pushed back, goes for the knockup, goes for the kill on Jiizuke. Svenskeren against the world, needs one more auto attack and he can't get it. But the rest of the team fight has gone pretty well. It's a 2-on-3.
Zeyzal's running past them.
Is running for the back line. Kumo's hitting Turtle. Kumo's trying to run. He's going to flash for it. The Nexus will fall and Evil Geniuses take the series over FlyQuest. Bang is still safely firing in the backside, looking for the kill on Niski. Can't get it though. So the 2 kills picked up. Zeyzal gonna fall as well, and Jiizuke is against the world. Cloud9 don't lose a single member, and Yat
Get him, man.
gonna do it all by himself.
look by Niski to get the initial sleep, but I was surprised that they actually went for this play against Kalista, and now here comes Jiizuke.
They got the root in place. That is going to the kill. Finally, Evil Geniuses are on the board. A great Realm Warp. We'll see it's going to fall in a couple of seconds. And here comes the re-engage. Is it going to be enough? They flash forward. They find a huge ulti out of Bang. And that's going to pull Sven into safety. Now it's going to put him right back in the jaws of defeat. 2 kills picked up, plus the Drake. And here comes the re-engage. Flicker's going to try on the backside. 1 versus 3. It's not going to be enough. Bang is safe to free fire. There's the second kill picked up. And with the 3s from members of Cloud9, they will do the best they can, but it's not going to be enough. They're going to try as hard as he's asleep. Just going to hit him in the back. And EG get a 3 for 0, plus the Drake steal. They're right off to Baron.
At 5 minutes, and now they might kill Licorice, who burned Flash to get that Jiizuke kill.
Has nowhere to go. They coordinate it well, and finally a gank to the top side is rewarded. It's a 5v4 chase down. Kumo burns the Flash. The next slow will guarantee he dies. It's all right. My life for Ire. I'll drop. You can kill me, but maybe Svenskeren will live. He's waiting over the wings. Vulcan knows he's there. Can't find the hook, but can he find the steal? Has to jump over the wall. There is now no chance to take away the Elder Dragon. This will go Cloud9's way. They will now knock down Svenskeren as well. He's going to drop. That's the killing spree for Niski. Cloud9, 18-9. Elder Dragon buff on. They're ready to end the game.
Evil Genius, a slightly better time through the playoffs, but still falling short against Cloud9. Jap, my question is, since Evil Geniuses was the team that won the first go-around between themselves and FlyQuest, how much are they really going to look to change coming into today's best of 5?
It's always weird when you are the incumbent Viktor, even though Game 4 was so close. So I think they should actually look to change a decent amount, because I thought that series was kind of looking to swing against them when they got there, and they have learnings from Cloud9. So I don't think we're going to see exactly the same Evil Geniuses, and they need to find a way to kind of keep Jiizuke alive.
It's a curiosity, to say the least. We are going to hear from the casters about this rematch in just a moment, but before we do, here's Jiizuke's thoughts on FlyQuest from their first go-around.
I'm pretty sure actually if they didn't put solo in, they would have lost 3-0. I think they were really playing over passive, but with solo they were playing like so aggressive topside, and they had like just solo was like on counter matchup, and he was like ahead most of the time.
Hello everyone and welcome to the Caster Desk. I am David Freak. Truly the man over there is Isaac Azael Cummings Bentley, and we want to take some time to talk about the top lane, specifically the switch in top laners for FlyQuest.
I mean, we just heard Jiizuke talking about it. That is the guy that Solo, subbed in against and was playing against, EG, his team, and they are going to be going up against them here today. I think Solo has really made a big resurgence coming back in for FlyQuest. He has been crushing it in lane. That is the biggest difference for me, is his laning stats have been so much stronger than Viper's throughout playoffs, and he has really amassed quite a few games with the team now, up to 14 games, I do believe, to Viper's 17. So although it feels like Solo just swapped in, he's been around for almost as long as Viper now as far as total games played, and he brings a bit of a different aspect. He can play things like Gangplank that I think really suits the style of the team, allowing them to not focus as much on his lane while still having him affect other areas of the map.
And we got to see 2 games of Solo versus Kumo in that best of 5 series at the very beginning of playoffs. And he had a 32 CSD average in those games and a 1,600 gold lead average at 15 minutes. He was absolutely clapping in the matchup. So I think that is a huge condition there for FlyQuest. And I think a big reason why I have them favored in the best of 5. Now, Dash, back to you.
Thank you very much, Freak. Taking a look at this matchup between these two squads, they've already taken care of the top lane, so I want to go to the other solo laners. Mid lane, Jiizuke, PowerOfEvil, 2-3 in the All-Pro votes. It was already a contentious matchup going into the first bout. How do we expect things to shake up this time around?
I think it's really important to look at some of these big numbers. The solo deaths, solo kills and ISO deaths. It's important to note that an ISO death can happen when you get like 3v1'd in the side lane, and so you're always going to have a higher ISO death than solo kills. But the fact that Jiizuke is so much higher in both speaks to his playstyle. He's out in the side lane, he's trying to make things happen, and the enemy team is really focused on shutting him down. Even the jungle proximity difference, which is time in mid lane, pre-15 minutes, he's negative. The enemy team is always hard focusing him, where PoE has a lot higher DPM.
And just moving into some of the other stats, now we have the head-to-head from when they played in playoffs. Note that it's KDA at 15, which means they killed Jiizuke 5 times before 15 minutes, thanks in part to some of that jungle attention. So the last time they played, actually, PowerOfEvil was getting some early advantages in lane, at least, but then the overall games were falling apart. So it's going to be incredibly important. I think that FlyQuest goes in with a similar game plan, but still manages to apply more pressure from the top lane that the casters were just talking about, because a lot of what they were doing was working in regards to Jiizuke in the first series.
I was going to say, I was going to ask how that interacts with the conversation that the casters just had, considering that those stats from the first meeting, 2 of the games are with Viper in the lineup and 2 of them with Solo. So I think probably there's still some ambiguity left around how FlyQuest will ultimately choose to play this game with Solo in the lineup. Do they keep trying to hammer Jiizuke and keep him down as he's been a playmaker for EG, or do they rely on PowerOfEvil, to hold his own and go elsewhere?
Yeah, no, I think going elsewhere is the correct choice. I think in their first series, they killed Jiizuke so many times on Ezreal. Jiizuke was playing mid Ezreal, like probably one of the safer picks in the world, and they're still able to find kills on him because they're just over-indexing, let's kill mid lane. So that jungle proximity is not necessarily Svenskeren ignoring Jiizuke, it's more of FlyQuest was just hard focusing him. But now that they have so much more comfort to go in the top and bot lanes, I'm expecting to see a lot more widespread strategy than just focus Jiizuke, since Evil Genius was able to win through mostly Bang in that series.
Well, we've talked through a number of the matchups, but I think for this series, maybe more than any other, win conditions are very important given the way that these teams have evolved throughout the postseason. So the way we're doing it today is a little do-it-yourself, at-home edition of the win conditions. So Jat and I are going to be guessing in this situation, but we've tasked Mark and Prolly to use Paint to do it themselves and illustrate the win conditions for each of the teams. Mark, you're first. FlyQuest, throw it up there.
What do you got?
Jat,
Here we go.
We're going to try and break this down.
I won't say anything. I won't give any hints.
Okay. Oh, it's okay. So it's a very literal map movement thing. So I see green dot moving from bot lane to mid lane.
Is FlyQuest, and that's Jiizuke, actually. Notice how Svenskeren's in base, like, for some reason. But it's basically gang up on mid lane by ganking with jungler and support.
Okay. So disconnect Svenskeren's keyboard. He can't leave the fountain. Step 1. Now that we have a lopsided jungle matchup, we get IgNar out of the lane to join the jungler, and 3v1 dives all day long in the mid lane. That's a solid win condition, Mark.
You guys did pretty well, but you missed one thing. Look at IgNar. Why is he's got some aura around him.
What is that?
That's like the Rakan ultimate. It's the quick.
No, it's Super Saiyan.
He's on fire.
Oh, come on.
That's his hairdo? Okay, great.
No, he's got the aura. I need IgNar to have a good series. I'm saying he needs to have a good series. It doesn't need to be the Rakan. I want him to pop off, get counter pick, and stunt on Zeyzal a little bit. And Sven's in base because he died.
All right, Prolly's turn. Prolly's turn.
And Sven
Prolly's turn. This is for EG.
All right, let's go.
What do you got for us?
Yeah, got a lot to live up to.
Okay.
Okay, so Jiizuke has a mid difference over PoE in draft, thanks to Artemis out-drafting Curry on the other side as FlyQuest coach. Notice the jester hat because he looks like a clown after the draft.
He clowned on him.
And Bang is very
You're a clown in my court.
Thanks to
Okay, fair enough. Yeah. I largely agree with that. I thought more of the Bang thing was that he's been hitting the gym, right? And so his mechanics are going to be even more on point, right? Exactly. He's going to have more precise movements, stronger movements with the mouse. But I largely agree with that drafting point. It seems like a lot hinges on making a fool out of the other coach. So there are the win conditions, Jat. With those win conditions in mind, I want to get some predictions on the board as we're about to head in towards game number 1. So quick around the horn, Jat, who are you going with?
Yeah, it seems like there's a lot of emphasis on the mid lane, and I think PoE has been a slightly better mid laner than PoE, so I'm going to slightly edge FlyQuest.
Ooh, 3-2 FlyQuest. Mark, if Svenskeren's keyboard is unplugged like you expect it to be, what's the call?
I said it was dead. I'm going to go with, actually, same thing as Jat, which feels bad to say, but I'm going FlyQuest 3-2. And I think the big one was, probably was talking about how, they threw too many resources at mid lane before, but this time they have Solo in the top lane, who you heard Jiizuke talking about was generating pressure on his own, playing aggressively. And I think that will be the big factor. Not that we'll see all the plays going topside, but that extra bit of pressure in the early game and better playmaking throughout in mid-game team fights and stuff like that will allow their win condition to go out.
Probably. What do you got here? Because EG won the first time around.
Yeah, I'm bucking this. I'm 3-2 EG. I think this game is going to go down to team fights. And I think Bang is going to be able to carry those team fights. That's why he's buff in the gym, you know?
Well, my analysts promise a hard-fought, long 5-game series, but with that, the table is set between Evil Geniuses and FlyQuest, so it's my cue to hand things back over to our casters for the call for Game 1 of the day. Enjoy.
If you're searching for glory, this isn't it. Searching for something good within.
LCS Champion. That's what this weekend is about. For some, it's about proving that they can do it for the very first time.
The base will fall. Back-to-back sweeps. TL's the best team in North America.
It's the org that is expected to win with the players who haven't.
Niski is gone. Zeyzal is gone. Cloud9 is gone.
For some, it's about redemption, about doing what they've come so close to in the past.
No quick silver sash. He is down. He is shut down.
What is he doing? And for others, it's about doing it again. It's about recapturing former glory.
WildTurtle! Turtle on the triple, Turtle on the quadra. A second quadra in the playoffs for Turtle. Flushed out of the way, Contract is going to move in, Smith's going to try and take it down, Svenskeren, looking for the big play.
Wave, Cloud9 still a little bit dangerous. High,
Whoa, all the way back to high. And they will do it once again. The consecutive wins for Team Solomon.
And for Cloud9, it's about calling themselves champions once again.
Cloud9 does not drop a single game in the playoffs. That is the best team in North America.
This finals will look different. We won't be in an arena. There won't be tens of thousands of fans. But at the end of the day, these players are competing for an LCS title. The mark of a champion is someone who can perform under the given circumstances.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Championship Qualifier Best of 5. Evil Geniuses and FlyQuest are battling for the final spot in the finals tomorrow and a chance to fight Cloud9 for the LCS Spring 2020 Championship. I am Freak. That is Zeyzal, and Champion Select is about to begin.
Man, it's so exciting to finally be here. The culmination of the split. We have the Championship Qualifier today, right into Champion Select. I'm really excited to see where the priorities are really going to lie in picks and bans. You know, people are talking a lot about the mid lane matchup, but, you know, sometimes if you're focusing too much on one matchup, that can be at the expense of others. And you talked about how Solo was dominant over Kumo in their previous series when he had been subbed in. You know, a lot of people have been talking about Bang as a potential win condition in the late game too, because he has been so solid throughout the entire year. But thus far, you know, there are some of those key picks being removed. We can see Rakan taken away from IgNar, people really highlighting his playmaking ability. He has gone back to some of the more aggressive picks, things like Blitz and Pyke still available if he were to go towards them. But Rakan, I think, is the most obvious of those playmaking supports that you can go to really without having to think about what your opponents are playing.
Yeah, I think right now EG are trying to set up for the Aatrox versus Poppy that they had used a couple of times in the Cloud9 series. You're seeing the Sepin. Oh no, they were going to go for the Ornn if it's left up. Okay, so Ornn's still important to them if they can grab it there. I think if that is ever taken off the table, I think they do move around because I think that was a good matchup. They were able to gank for it. It made the matchup with FLICKR a lot easier, but end of the day, we still have the Aatrox up, which we expect out of FlyQuest solo.
I also think GP could be good here if they actually want to play towards the bottom side of the map. I do think GP into Ornn can be quite solid. I think solo GP is perhaps his best champion. You know, even previous to him playing on FlyQuest, he had been very good at it. But Aatrox, as you say, the more standard pick, that is going to be what they will go towards. And solo has been a strong performer on this here too. Grabbing the Aphelios for WildTurtle, that has been, you know, one of the, I think, his best performing marksmen. But it is going to be an aggressive response here from EG. So they're going to be going with Kalista Taric, really strong pairing. You can utilize the Kalista ultimate to buy time for Taric to get his own ultimate off. You can also use it more aggressively, obviously throwing in the Taric to set up the Bastion stun. You know, that can be a very good pairing. And, you know, that immunity allows Kalista, I would say, the wherewithal to go aggressive and to really stack up those spears and try to look to get aggressive in team fights where sometimes she can struggle with the shorter range.
Well, Trundle going to be locked in as a jungler here for FlyQuest. Could be Flex to support, but either way, for those of you on ESPN, heading to a quick commercial break. For those of you online, stay tuned.
So Trundle locked in here against the Ornn. That is going to be really strong, you know, when it comes to the team fighting stage. We don't know, obviously, what the jungle choice is going to be here for EG. I'm expecting that Kindred already banned out, so Lee Sin could be another one to get banned out here. I do think it's Svenskeren, probably his best champion historically over the last couple of years, and can be, you know, a champion that has pretty strong level of priority in those early games. But, you know, FlyQuest, I think they are setting themselves up pretty well for that 5v5. Often Ornn, you know, is considered that kind of team fight beast and can become extremely difficult to actually poke down. But with the Trundle ultimate, does obviously make Trundle more of a tank himself, and also does help to shred through that Ornn. Zoe actually going to be the ban here, though, so worried about some of these kind of priority picks here for Jiizuke. The LeBlanc, the Zoe, both taken away. Those are some of the more kind of like lane dominant picks. He does have a lot of those picks that are more side lane when you think about the Rise, when you think about the Echo, champions like this. So we could still see EG go towards a Rise, but clearly FlyQuest are less worried about the scaling pick and the kind of side lane play than they are about, you know, maybe just pressure in that early game. And it is going to be Blitz. So this is really exciting. IgNar again going to be willing to go towards those playmakers.
Okay, so aggressive support option is there. We saw Mark Z with the beautiful MS Paint drawing that, hey, we need Super Saiyan IgNar to win this one. This part of the win condition. They're going to hope that Svenskeren doesn't have a keyboard in this one. Regardless, though, EG do need their last two picks. They've got to blind their mid laner. They've got to answer the jungle pick with Kindred off the table. I know you were talking about Lee Sin earlier. Zilean's going to come through for the blind mid laner, and we'll see what the jungle pick ends up being.
It could be Olaf alongside Zilean. I actually like that as a combo because the speed up and the res, you can throw a bomb on Olaf's head, you can speed him up, send him into the back line. The res gives you, I think, more viability as you go later into the game. Zilean as a pick here, I think this is just a nod to the fact that PowerOfEvil does have counter. Graves would be another aggressive option here. This does give you more damage towards the late game because when you are playing, you know, Zilean and Ornn, your consistent damage can be fairly low in the later stages of the game. So Svenskeren is going to go with another marksman option. This is a good matchup against the Trundle. You can use your dash to go over top of that pillar to be able to kite out the Trundle and sometimes even use the pillar against him. This is a power farmer. This very much does feel like a 5v5 style comp. You have the Taric for the ultimate, you have the Zilean for the speed up and the supportive kind of style, and obviously your front line there of Ornn. So a lot of frontline ability, you know, kind of fighting ability with these two marksmen to actually take them down, and it's going to be Viktor for PowerOfEvil. So I would expect him to have priority against this Zilean, but as Zilean gets enough levels, you get to a point where you have enough mana and you have enough cooldown reduction and damage with these bombs that you can kind of just infinitely clear out the waves and hold that, I think, relatively, you know, to par against PowerOfEvil.
All right, well, wave clear mid lane power going to be in there for PowerOfEvil. That's going to be fun to watch for. Actually, looking at his sort of historic win rates, of course, that has been a lower win rate overall for him. Welcome back, of course, to our ESPN viewers. We are heading into the game start very, very soon. Champs have been locked in. PoE is on a signature pick in the Viktor, but it's actually not a very winning one for him. If you look back at his history, it's actually one of his lowest win rate champions that he plays a lot of. I noticed the Orianna was up, for example, not opting into that one that's a bit more comfortable, not only winning, but more commonly picked for him, but says, okay, Viktor is the kind of style we want here. Definitely intrigued to see how the marksman jungle pick comes through here, because Svenskeren's really not been playing champions like that. He had one Kindred game historically on the season so far. No Graves games, of course. Graves has picked up a couple of buffs over time, and cool to see a kind of fresher face in the lineup.
It is really interesting, and I do think it's specifically against that Trundle that it is really effective, because Trundle was picked not as an answer to the opposing jungler, it was picked as an answer to the opposing top laner, right? It was picked as an answer to the Ornn, which gives Svenskeren the ability to actually go for a matchup that he can abuse in that jungle 1v1, and the marksmen are really good at doing that. Kindred is really good at doing it. Graves is really good at doing that. You can out farm that Trundle on the Graves, you can get in his face and out duel him if you have the red buff, and kite him out, use the quick draw to get behind the pillar and actually use that against that Trundle. So I think it's a very exciting pick, pairs well with a lower damage profile of the Zilean and the Ornn too. Should be really exciting game one.
Yeah, you don't have the easiest armor stacking on the FlyQuest side, of course, right? Because you're looking at the fact that, okay, Aatrox top doesn't really want to buy a ton of armor when he's currently having to face against Ornn, who's very magic damage heavy. You're not going to rush an arm guard on, you're not just going to get armor on Viktor really in general very much overall. And so, yeah, you actually may have a decent chance that, probably see a mid-game Black Cleaver on the Graves, but you don't have to do it. But even if your damage is primarily marksman heavy and it's very physical heavy, may still be enough to kind of keep up, just because there isn't that super durable front line. That said, I think there's still a lot of tools here on the FlyQuest side, of course, right? It can look really, really good with Blitzcrank roaming around to the mid lane. Zilean doesn't have the best escape tools overall, and we really might see a lot of pressure down there, right? No inbuilt flash, so we can't get away from Blitzcrank hooks easily. Can't get away from like a flash punch up either, and the Trundle pillar sets it up as well. So I can kind of see mid lane pressure working really, really well for FlyQuest.
Even in the 2v2, it's actually really scary for Taric, because people think of Taric as this tank and sometimes group him in with the Brahms and the Nautilus and whatever. But Taric generally is building pretty squishy. You're going for things like redemption early on. You often do not play Aftershock because it's harder to hit that dazzle. So you are actually fairly susceptible to just hooking in that Taric and actually just focusing him down in that 2v2. So I do think that there is the ability not only for them to bring Santorin down with a pillar to set up a hook, but to converge on that mid lane as Mark Z was kind of wanting out of FlyQuest. If you show up with the Trundle, you pillar in the Zilean, slow him down, that sets up for an easy hook to at least force out a flash there from Jiizuke. And I do think that largely this game will depend on the playmaking of IgNar, and I think that's kind of just how Blitzcrank works. If you are ahead and if you are dominating vision, you can make this champion look incredible, and if you are behind and they see you coming every time, this champion looks like garbage compared to something like Taric.
Yep, going to be definitely interesting to watch for. I'll be having my eyes on, of course, top lane as well. We saw Solo absolutely dominate Kumo in his two earlier Ornn games when they last played a couple weeks ago. I'm expecting more of the same, so I am very curious exactly where the pressure does come down, because FlyQuest has the chance at really aggressing on any of those three lanes. That will be fun to watch for. Do want to point out, for those of you wondering why you're still seeing our faces and not gameplay just yet, we do have to build up a gameplay buffer for competitive integrity. That is almost done soon. We had a bit of a slow start to the game for some checklisting issues, but within about a minute's time, I think we'll be ready to get into that game yet again. And I want to sort of talk about some more of the EG side of things then, as we are going to first, now that the teams are ready to load onto the Rift, we're ready to watch, let's check out the starting lineups. Welcome to Summoner's Rift, everybody. A best of 5 between Evil Geniuses and FlyQuest. The loser takes 3rd place. The winner faces Cloud9 in the LCS 2020 Spring Finals. And we're going to see in this game who starts out better in this series. You've got to win 3 of the 5 games. We play them all today. We're going to figure out who takes at least top 2.
A lot of starting out better in this playoff series is going to be about the emote selection, because I saw them popping some emotes. So if you're going to be good with the emotes, you have to have the right choices. You have to have, maybe the surprise crab in there, maybe the little popcorn eating emote. Some of those ones are pretty good. The monkeys are always a favorite. But we are going to get an early invade here with the sweeper, and this is something I really like because it does threaten a potential invade, and they actually wanted, I think, to give that experience to Jiizuke. That's why they were delaying so much on the sweeper, but it was going to expire, because giving that to Jiizuke would mean he would get to level 2 on that first wave. That 1 minion earlier can make a pretty big difference sometimes in those mid lane matchups, but a couple of really interesting things to point out already. So I talked about kind of the preferential matchup of Graves, this marksman, into Trundle. He's going phase rush to even further extend that, because this makes it so that Trundle really doesn't even have that pillar slow. The pillar is not going to hold Graves in because he can dash over it, but now you have phase rush to actually remove that slow and to be able to kite back and forth very effectively against that Trundle, which makes it even more difficult. And Jiizuke is also playing Glacial Augment, so this is going to be Super Soaker Spooky Ghost. This is going to be about the slowdowns. Not only does this set up for things like the Dazzle Stun from the Taric, it obviously makes it very easy to land those double bombs, and it's just largely very effective against melee-heavy teams. And we see that there are 3 melee champions over on FlyQuest, so if Blitzcrank is trying to run in for an engage, or Aatrox, you can slow them down with those Glacial Augment actives later on in the game, and play it more for the control, which is really powerful.
Yeah, any telegraph teamfight in general, not only with just the GLP out of Jiizuke's Zilean, but also even knowing for Zeyzal that he needs to pop his ulti and get ready to kind of re-engage. Anything where it's super telegraphed, really impactful, really helpful, because a lot of these things do want some setup or to build some time, and that can look really nice. Early push is going Kumo's way, shoves into the turret, can actually deny Solo a lot of this farm. Kumo got almost the entire wave, and Solo misses half.
Yeah, Solo got a little bit greedy trying to CS every one instead of just accepting that he was going to miss some of those and prepping the next. Like, sometimes you just have to make that choice that, no, I can't get this, and you just skip that minion, allow it to die to the turret while you're prepping the other minions to get them in a position. A little bit of a snake, but not too big of a deal. Only a couple CS early on, not going to be that big of a difference. But yeah, no, I agree. I think, in those kind of telegraphed fights, the Glacial Augment can be very powerful, and something that people don't always talk about that much with the Spooky Ghost is actually how effective it is to help you ward, right? It allows you to actually scout out areas, to find out if they are camping in a brush, so that you can pop that active. Then your team sees that is clear, you can move in, and it really does help to allow you to secure some more safe vision.
All right, well, taking a quick look around the map at how the early lanes have gone. Santorin's going to get top scuttle. The bottom one already went to the Evil Geniuses side with Graves and co down there. Bot lane pretty close in farm. Solo's pushing top back down again with Santorin in tow in case there is a gank, but it looks like it's still going to be Kumo winning in farm early on. Mid fairly close, junglers have equal amounts of camp, so a fairly mundane early game, with the exception being the pleasant surprise of Kumo doing well in this matchup very early on.
Yeah, and I think both teams have a good idea of what's going on. You could see Kumo committed to the hard shove in the early levels. That was because he knew that his jungler, Svenskeren, was going to be clearing towards bot. And in those situations where your jungler is not going to be topside, you actually want to bounce the wave early so that it pushes back towards you while the enemy jungler is up there. That is because the wave will then naturally push towards you, so you can basically just AFK at your turret, be safe from any potential ganks, and still know that you will have that farm coming in, that you can collect that golden experience safely on your side of the map.
Yeah, and all was well for him. Honestly, Kumo having a decent start early on. We'll see if that changes around. One of the things that Solo got praise for when they FlyQuest subbed him in the top side over Viper was not just his individual play, but his communication as well. That he was actually better at calling for resources and, kind of letting people know what he wanted to do with the lane. So we'll see if there is anything else done up in that lane, or if it's going to remain an island for a while. And if it is an island, I think that kind of tends to favor Kumo, tends to favor the Ornn, and it's a good thing for Evil Geniuses. So interested to see what this turns into down the line. It's not always kills at level 3 or anything, but we'll wait around, as oftentimes playoff games also tend to be a little bit slower as well as the pressure is on, and Now that both teams are on the losers bracket, they've got to make sure that, okay, like, there's no more room for mistakes, there's no second chances. This is the last best of 5 you play if you lose it.
Yeah, and I also think that because neither team is playing some like hard commit early style of game, they don't need to get crazy, right? It's more comfortable to look back and scale, as both junglers will spot each other there. But, you know, as long as there's no sort of collapse coming. Oh, nice hook on a Zeyzal.
Yeah, the root setup was really, really nice. WildTurtle had landed I think the Infernum Q and was able to set up for Gravitum, or at least he landed something else for Gravitum. And Bang knew he was rooted, so Zeyzal stood in front and said, I'll take the hook for you, don't worry about it. Keeps him safe. Svenskeren tries to go for the solo Drake, but Santorin's actually able to spot this one out, and note that it's not going to happen there. One camp lead for Svenskeren. They've both gotten the same recall off, and now once again pressure towards the bottom side, looking at what IgNar might find. Ignites there, stun's not going to land. There is no way out for Zeyzal, and for good measure, that's going to be Santorin claiming the kill, but here come the teleports. Svenskeren is here, so is Jiizuke, but he's a half health on Zilean. That is not the kind of TP you want. He donates the kill, and a hook means nothing. FlyQuest up to a 3-0 start. What a tragedy for Evil Genius.
The wheels fall off for EG. Oh my god. Jiizuke TPing in. He couldn't get the ult off, or maybe spent too much mana. He looked very low on mana there, so I'm not actually sure if he even had it after using those double bombs. But yeah, that was just really smart from FlyQuest. Graves basically saw Trundle on the bot side of the map, knew Trundle had no camps there. So Svenskeren is saying, great, I can Seek a Dragon. But Santorin had hung around, and he spots him out. So Graves got pushed out towards mid lane, meaning they could have the early start on a 3v2. So they go in, they're able to kill off Taric very early on. Jiizuke is TPing for the help, but you know, by the time he's here, the fight was already lost. And he's not even able to get the ult off. Even if he did use the ult, he would have just re-died. So this is pretty brutal. And now the roam here on Jiizuke mid.
He's at least got flash, and the ulti's up this time around. Gotta take some minion damage. He's gonna get the health bar back. That was appropriate. He had about another second or so, so not too much danger onto him. Gets most of the minions back. Sadly, has to lose the cannon in the melee, but honestly, not the worst situation, right? Trading your ult for a roam on mid lane, I think it's generally okay. Okay, IgNar's not pressuring mid too much anymore. All right, now he's back. Here comes round 2. This time Jiizuke has flash, and he has the move speed to get away from the hook.
Yeah, it's not the worst to trade out that ult. That is one of the things that Zilean can do. As long as you're in a good position, the ult is very effective at absorbing those types of ganks. If you're out of position and you ult, then usually you just die again unless someone's coming. But, you know, good job by him being able to absorb that roam. But, you know, FlyQuest off to an incredible start early on as, you know, EG committed both TPs to the bot side and still went 0 for 3 and lost Dragon. So that is a pretty monumental deficit off of what was, you know, play that was essentially started by Svenskeren. It was them trying to start the Dragon. It was them trying to get an advantage in this jungle matchup. But it is Santorin who's way out ahead.
And time and again, they just keep showing up the mid lane. That is within about a minute's time, 2 Blitzcrank ganks and the Trundle gate coming down. That is the ulti down, just to get outplayed 1, and then he has to burn flash now for the next one. And yeah, to your point about the double TPs being burned, yeah, sure, I technically PoE and solo also burn their teleports. Sure, it was an equal threat of summoners. But a lot of the times when like a really good gank comes down to the bot lane, it's, well, they sent all 5, they burned teleports, now it's our turn to burn cooldowns, we can find a play somewhere else. In this case, that doesn't exist. EG don't have any inbuilt sort of buffs on their side, nothing else special they can use to try to get back. They're just simply down 15, 16 gold and have to kind of weather that storm.
And PoE actually just TP'd back to mid lane. He didn't even TP bot.
Oh,
it was only solo that match. So, you know, that just puts it even more in their favor. Despite the fact that it's still even on farm, you know, that's a good job by Jiizuke. When he's TPing away from lane, his opponent is TPing to lane, and he has been ganked, what, 3-4 times already? So, you know, good job by him to stay even, but FlyQuest going to be really happy about the early situation. You know, they grabbed Rift Herald, they grabbed Dragon, and they are the ones who are supposed to be on the back foot in this jungle matchup, but it just goes to show how quickly things can change when Svenskeren overstepped a tiny bit, and FlyQuest made the most out of it. And this is kind of what can happen in that bot lane matchup. Also, you know, I talked about the ability to just focus the Taric. You know, Taric is fairly squishy, fairly easy to take down for Blitzcrank if you can actually, you know, hook him in and have your jungler there. So something that EG are going to have to be really, really careful about, you know, going forward.
Alrighty, so we get a bit of a reset on the game. TP's back up in about 2 minutes here, and we still have the same roughly 2,000 gold lead as The next Drake spawns in 90 seconds. FlyQuest still feeling pretty comfortable. First enchant or augment done for PowerOfEvil in that mid lane. He's feeling pretty comfortable. Jiizuke on his way towards GLP. That'll be done probably after the Drake spawn, so we might see FlyQuest get 2 early on. I gotta say, I like the items on WildTurtle a bit better. That's gonna look nice. 14 CS lead top lane for Solo. I think his items aren't gonna make that big of a difference up in the top lane, as Rebel West makes Kumo fairly tanky up there. But for now, we're just gonna have the farm going back and forth. The early Herald, we'll see what that gets summoned, what can, what they can pick up. And now Svenskeren, making the first move we've seen in a while, has tried to sneak into the bottom lane, but I believe he was seen doing so.
Yeah, I think so too. And Jiizuke again getting picked on here. He's going to be able to walk it out, but Santorin, I think he just decided that PoE wouldn't be able to catch up. PoE, it seemed like, just wanted to kill that ward, but they're going to dive bot side, having seen Santorin mid.
Going for the hard dive. Taric ult is on. There was no counterattack. What a great dive into the bottom lane. IgNar left alone, but Zeyzal gonna have to be ulted out. No! He's silenced. Bang! And they might get another kill into the turret as well. Now a dive to the top side. It will kill off Kumo. Ends up being long-term a 2-4-2, considering top lane dive answered one back.
Nicely played by IgNar, though, in the 1v3 to get that kill. As you say, it was the well-timed Blitzcrank silence preventing Bang, it looked like, from using that Kalista ultimate to actually save Zeyzal. But on top side, they're just going to straight up take the tower. So Kumo, having TP'd away from lane, got nothing. His opponent got a kill, now gets dove. And they're going to donate a lot of this tower gold over here to Solo. He is going to be so far ahead off of this help from Santorin.
22 CS lead, all 5 plates in first. Turret gold, not to mention the other 2 kills on top. Yeah, you're going to have a really hard time top side for Kumo. He's going to do his very best. He's going to lose some health in this turret first. Yeah, he can knock down afterwards, but oh my, top lane difference is happening already.
All right, so let's see this one more time. They can make this dive happen because they saw Santorin mid, so the pressure that Jiizuke absorbed afforded them the opportunity to do this. Well-timed Taric ultimate. They started off very, very well. And you're probably wondering, why doesn't Zeyzal just run away? It's because he's expecting the Kalista ultimate. But that timing on the silence from Blitzcrank prevents that from happening. They kill on top side, they take the tower. That means they can walk Solo down without even having to TP him into this dragon. And it's going to grab them their second dragon also. And Solo will lose a little bit of farm topside, but it looks like it's only even part of one wave, and he'll be up there to collect the rest, so not too big of a deal. And FlyQuest just playing this early game incredibly well.
I want to give even extra credit praise to how Zeyzal played that dive, even in just like very minor timing things. So he used his shield and heal first, and then started the ults midway through the dive. Turrets deal increasing damage over the course of time. The first 5 shots deal less the next 5 shots. So he tanks the first few, then starts the ulti. That way, when he's invulnerable, it's during the most deadly part of the turret itself. It actually blocks more damage that way by casting it late. Yes, again, we know Ben got silenced. That was all really rough at the end, but even optimal ulti pacing saved that extra like couple of 2 turret shots worth of damage and worth of time.
No, I think it's a really good point. And the other nice thing about that is when you actually use the heal, and the shield prior to using the ultimate buys you time to actually be using your passive autos and recharging those heals during that, so then you can heal yourself back up from the damage you had taken previously. Zeyzal will get hooked back in here. He actually could be in trouble. They're TPing down, so Bang's gonna have to ult him out, I think.
Kalista, if they need it, versus Stun into IgNar. It's going to force Flash out, and there's Kalista to get him out. Now is there a re-engage. Good Flash screams by PoE into the re-engage. A ton of damage towards Bang, but he's back over the pillars. So Santorin is now left alone, and Kumo going to look for the knockup. Going to airball it entirely. Hits nobody with a knockup, but Svenskeren is there for 1 kill. So far, 2 picked up on the side as they're going to trade blows back and forth. Suddenly, EG have lost 4, and FlyQuest are all over the place, taking kills, taking names, and taking another team fight victory.
Yeah, I mean, the soul laners were there. There were extra members were there so much faster for FlyQuest. I was honestly shocked that EG wanted to commit to the fight anyway, but not only do they commit to it, they just kind of whiffed on a lot of key things. From the early play, they have vision that Santorin was running down. They can see that PowerOfEvil is here, but they took so much time and they actually turned for the fight instead of running away. Then Jiizuke coming over here, he is not able to get an ultimate off on Bang. He is split from him. Kumo whipping his ultimate on everyone, and Jiizuke using the self-ult but not actually dying during it meant he was another easy cleanup there for Solo. So EG really not on the same page in the early minutes of this playoff series. They are not really looking very well put together. FlyQuest is just in an enormous lead now. They're going to grab their second Rift Herald, 2 dragons to 0. They're up a tower. They're up 4,000 gold. FlyQuest feels like they almost already have this one in the bag.
It's looking incredibly likely. They are hugely ahead over in this game. We crest 15 minutes in, and they're up 4,000 gold. That's better than a Cloud9 stack. And they do that for a living, crush early games. This is really impressive stuff by FlyQuest early on. Definitely, there are some mistakes on EG's side. Kumo's ulti, if that lands, PoE is dead and doesn't kill Svenskeren, at least not initially. Like, that is a very different fight if you land the ulti on a flashless Viktor. That is a mistake that you cannot make when you're in the championship qualifier. That is a huge one. Kumo does need to shore up these mistakes here. And that said, though, there's still a lot of game to play.
And Jiizuke too, right? You know, if Jiizuke had killed back to Bang and actually ulted Bang, who was being taken out by Solo, then maybe that fight can continue on, you know, but these little mistakes add up to big ones. And, you know, you can put yourself in such a deficit that, unfortunately, you know, later on in the game when you're down 5,000-6,000 gold, even if you don't make those mistakes, sometimes it doesn't matter because you're just too far behind. You know, your opponents are just that much more powerful with all the extra gold. You know, FlyQuest aren't quite there yet where they can kind of just play with Reckless Abandon, but they are getting close to it, and they have, you know, pretty strong engage with the Blitz plus Trundle combo. You know, that is pretty powerful. And we talked about it in Champ Select. When you're playing with Blitzcrank, playing from a winning position, it's almost like an entirely different champion, because look at all the vision they have on this bottom side of the map. They have multiple pinks in their opponent's jungle. They have wards everywhere. And when you're the ones with those wards and with all the pinks out on the map denying your opponent's vision, they have to play around these pockets of fog where Blitzcrank can be so damn effective. And you know when you're behind and you walk into that fog, if you get hooked, it's lights out. You're just going to die. And that's where Blitz really thrives.
Yes, he does. He's going to try to thrive yet again. Svenskeren jump. Oh, that was so close to catching Bang. That would have been lights out. Kumo and Solo going to battle back and forth, but Solo lands some knockups, kites away, and just blast plants out. There's not really a realistic chance for Kumo to win those fights. And now you have yet another battle into the mid lane as Santorin walks in, chunks down the turret. WildTurtle going to land a couple autos there as well, but they are going to wait and still play a little bit of wave clear, play a little bit of defense, zone out the opponents. That's a flash forced out against Jiizuke. Got the slow and would have landed the double bomb. That is a hook. That is Svenskeren going down. IgNar sets up that kill, and the Misfits player comes out.
Just a Misfits logo from Worlds from a few years ago there. Oh my god, and they still have the Rift Herald, man. And they're grabbing their third dragon at the same time. This is a stomp. And look at Hextech Flash. IgNar's just going to threaten going in. They didn't even need to use the Rift to take down this mid-tier 1. They've knocked down all the outers, so they could even use the Rift for a tier 2 mid or play like that to try to get even more gold, or even drop it and go elsewhere on the map to try to threaten that. But FlyQuest are now going to be at soul point. They're 6,000 gold ahead, and they are fully in the driver's seat here. Oh, that sucks.
Oh, he's got no flash though. This is dead. Turtle, I don't think should have a way to get away. There should not be a chance. He goes down. Bang finds that one. Signs of life maybe for Evil Genius. At least a kill on the board to slow down the bleeding. They don't even really look at the mid lane turret in earnest though. It's just a kill and nothing else. That barely shrinks the gold.
Yeah, I'll give you sign of life. I won't give you signs of life. They don't have much going on. They've got one single solitary kill to their name there. That's going to be something, but yeah, they've got a long road ahead of themselves if they want to be able to battle back. Oh, another hook!
Oh, what a hook! Oh my goodness!
It was blind. He's got the wall hacks. He can see him.
Vanguard where? Oh my gosh, that's a beautiful one. Svenskeren clears out some wards and everything else, but the gold lead's almost 6,000. We are 4 minutes away from Mountain Soul. FlyQuest are, you said they weren't there yet, but they're getting real close to that Reckless Abandon point in this game.
They really are. I mean, they are just smashing this game, and EG have just got to really calm down and collect themselves because they do look somewhat out of sorts here. In game number 1, FlyQuest is looking completely on point. Both the solo laners are enormously ahead. IgNar doesn't seem to be able to miss a hook and now has the Righteous Glory, so his engage potential is just that much higher. You know, he's going to be able to just pretty much run at anyone he sees because they know they can win all fights, and if you hook anyone at this point, there's not really a bad hook. Even hooking in Kumo away from his team, pillaring him and ulting him from Trundle, he's probably just going to flop because he's got 0 MR and you have a fed Viktor on your squad.
Well, they're going to try through going bottom side. Good flash by Solo, gets away from the ulti. That one's not a miss so much as a good play, and it means that there's no kill picked up the bottom side. Meanwhile, FlyQuest ready to push up in this top lane. Top 2 is already down, was already injured by the previous Herald. Goes up for round 2, and now onto the inhibitor turret itself. That one should be jumped if they spend the time. Jiizuke is the only one here to defend. If Santorin's willing to spend the time, PoE is willing to walk up, and he does so. But now there might be some kind of a re-engage. Jiizuke has to burn his ulti. Yeah, but that is ult for ult. All things considered, that is a trade of equal spells, and it's FlyQuest walking away after killing the turret.
It is, but damn, that damage is frightening. That he can make you all by himself that quick means that there's no room for error. If you are a split second slow, or if you are blitz silenced, or really anything, you're just gonna die, or your teammate is just gonna die before you can even get that ult off, and that is terrifying right now. You look over at Solo, he has the Death Dance and Black Cleaver here at 20 minutes. Gonna be monstrously strong.
Turtle's coming down, Santorin's on the flank, starts a bit of CC, Zeyzal comes in, look for the ulti, there it comes down, they're gonna turn invulnerable, and that's right after Solo's already killed. 5v4, Taric ulti ends, but again, sign of life, singular for Evil Genius. That was a straight up team fight. Okay, Turtle was out of range for about a second.
Yeah.
Right? There was a little bit of a mistake there, but end of the day, it's still a kill picked up. IgNar, nice! Kumo! Perfect play, puts in the Bellows Breath, immunes the hook back. That was a nice one. Still some time then, EG, with 18 seconds on Solo's death timer, have time to run around, maybe grab a scuttle, do a little bit around the map.
Bit of overconfidence, I think, there from FlyQuest, because not only was WildTurtle out of range, PowerOfEvil was actually split from the squad, so he wasn't actually much of a part of that fight, and didn't have his ultimate, because he had previously used it on Jiizuke. So, EG were able to section off that fight, and have what was essentially a 5-on-3 for a bit there, to actually focus down Solo. So FlyQuest do have to make sure they still have numbers when they are looking for these fights, but still fully in control. A minute until that soul would be available for them, and grabbing that is going to be absolutely huge. But for EG, they at least have a strong Kalista. You have 3 kills on the Kalista, you're ahead in farm, 10 CS per minute there or so on Bang. That is looking very good. And when you do have one strong carry, you can utilize that very well when you have the backup of the Taric, of the Zilean. You could speed this guy up, you can make him invulnerable, and you can hope that Bang and Svenskeren can potentially carry a fight.
All right, looking at the player on the mid lane, IgNar gonna kite back. He's gonna stay safe just there as EG once again trying to show that they can team fight, and the last couple have gone okay. Now Kumo's gonna find Solo, nice bit of crowd control there, lands a pretty good combo, drops him by about 1/3 of his health. Svenskeren gonna find some poke, they find the slow, they will find 2 stuns, and that is decent damage. Now Kumo rears back with the ulti, he's gonna not quite catch anything, and again that airball means a lot of nothing, and EG will have to walk away. FlyQuest may come in for a bit more now as IgNar's in the front line. He looks for poke, almost finds it, bombs come down, don't land at anything either. The FlyQuest know they are playing around Mountain Soul, and EG gonna have to probably fight for this one as once again they look for a little bit of poke, find a little bit of damage towards IgNar, but not a ton. Dragon now alive, and it's gonna be time for one person to go over and start that break.
Yeah, we'll see. FlyQuest battling back and forth here. The Taric heals have been actually a really big deal as Zeyzal even going for a speed up here. They're gonna engage on PoE, he's caught out.
Big stun combo plus through invulnerable. Chase down an IgNar, one more audible kill, and the flash for Svenskeren finds one. Just trade it back, and he's going to go down 4v4, and Solo and the rest of the team are going to re-engage. The health bars running low rapidly. An ult comes out, but there's no way out for Jiizuke. He's going to try, but he cannot flash. He will be dropped. That is 2-1. That is a team fight victory now for FlyQuest, but EG sure made them work for it. Problem is, there's no health bars left and no smite left. This is a very easy Dragon Soul pickup for FlyQuest.
Yeah, they've got it, and with that, it feels like most of the hope for EG in this game is now gone. I like the attempt here from EG, though. PowerOfEvil getting very cocky with his positioning. Steps forward, they land the knockup, they land the stun. The Taric ult comes down before anyone on their team dies, but PoE had both stopwatch and flash, so he's able to buy so much time. Flash out after the stopwatch avoided so much of that early damage, and when you're focusing so much of your attention on taking out this one fed Solo member, guess what? Solo is not wasting that time. He was running rampant through the backline. Turtle is untouched, and there's just too many strong members on FlyQuest, so the stopwatch bought time for the rest of the squad to get that done. And now when you're on EG and you're thinking, okay, how can we possibly still win this game? It has to be a pick. And Mountain Soul makes that even more difficult because everyone is starting with this buffer of a couple hundred extra health that you're now going to have to burst through if you want to get that instant kill at the start of a team fight.
Yeah, the gold lead looks like 6,000, but it plays more like 10,000, with everyone having about 300 extra HP off the Mountain Soul Shield. And we're going to see now as FlyQuest can say, all right, we've got all the Dragon objectives done. We speed ran that one, 23 minutes, about as fast as Doom Eternal can be closed out. And now, let's figure out if we can go for Baron next up. As WildTurtle closes down the mid lane, which is okay, he'll catch some more farm. Phantom Dancer, by the way, another 600 points worth of health at level 18 with that shield. That's going to be really massive for him as well. And pretty soon, FlyQuest just get to face roll into their opponents and take down the game.
Yeah, they're looking like they're in such a good spot. PowerOfEvil even just going to pick up the Mage Eyes. He wants that maximum amount of power right now. He knows that they are on the precipice of a game 1 victory here, so instead of just waiting for the death cap, he's just saying, nope, I'm going to spend 1,000 gold now. I already have 10 stacks on that Dark Seal, so we'll be very efficient at that point as long as he is not giving up any easy deaths.
A little bit of damage, a little bit of CC, but Kumo doesn't get any follow-through onto Solo as here comes the re-engage yet again. Svenskeren finds Santorin. 2 autos in, can't even break the Mountain Shield like it did nothing already. IgNar on the front line, Snow puts down the silence. Re-engage comes in, Zeyzal needs the ulti, gets it down just in time. And here comes the rest of the attacks though. Pee-wee finds one, they're ready to re-engage. The flash forward, Solo finds the knockup. They're gonna go for all the autos. Kumo gonna drop as well. A great hook gonna pull back. Bang, who's gonna be revived, but it times out and nothing happens. Triple kill for PowerOfEvil, goes for the quad with the flash forward. Gonna be claimed now by Santorin. Jiizuke left alone, gonna drop as well. The ace comes through. FlyQuest completely crush evil geniuses.
They knock him down, and they're going to retreat right back to Baron as IgNar flashing the Misfits logo again. PowerOfEvil and IgNar playing together on that team in the past, and getting shades of it here today as FlyQuest is crushing EG in game number 1. That Mage Eyes was at 10 stacks a second ago. It's at 25 now. PowerOfEvil is fed.
Oh, he really is. FlyQuest gonna crest the 10,000 gold lead mark. This is absolutely over. They have demolished this game from start to finish. It definitely started with that bot lane dive at the very beginning, but this fight again, it's a 5-1.
Yeah, this is gold really in action, right? And I don't even think, EG is necessarily playing this too bad. They get the Taric ult down on multiple members. They're able to, play it out pretty well. But the problem is they're just not getting anything done because they are so far behind. They're getting pushed out. All their early damage on IgNar wasn't enough to actually kill him off. You can see that the Mountain Soul Shield actually recharged on IgNar as he just backed off during the Taric ult and let that come back up before re-engaging at low health. And meanwhile, Solo has set up to immediately out of that Taric ultimate land the Q flash, 3-man knockup. That allows Turtle to move forward. That allows PowerOfEvil to move forward and get that damage out. And despite the fact that Bang had 2 lives, all that afforded him was the second death.
And now it's time to close this one out. The best of 5 is going to start FlyQuest's way. This is a 99.5 to 0.5% chance victory right here on this one. FlyQuest ready to walk down to the bottom lane. IgNar's got that shield. He's ready to find the next pull. Defensive wards come down to further get rid of the Evil Genius's vision. Make sure that they're able to walk around through fog, find hooks they're not seen. Just gonna cross some T's, dot some I's. All the outer turrets are gone, ready to crush down the middle and bottom inhibitor turrets.
Now they are looking like they're just in such a good spot right now. PowerOfEvil completed the death cap, 25 stack Mage Eyes. One combo on anyone means they're dead, and the hook lands a Bang.
That's Bang, he's flashing away. There's a dock up on the 2. It's going to be EG trying to re-engage, but Taric ult comes down far too late. They re-engaged before it came down, and nothing got done. Okay, it's time for FlyQuest to keep the fight going. That's kill number 2. That's going to be kill number 3. Give Turtle the triple. No, it's going to get picked up there by PowerOfEvil. EG always says live evil. Well, so far, 8-0 and 8. He's done nothing but that. Diphless into this game at the full stack of the Jai. Is going to TP back to lane. Gets the Haunted Guys for good measure, and here comes the rest of the siege. 3 dead, 2 left alive. It's going to be a 30-minute victory as FlyQuest go ahead and pad the stats. Jiizuke dies to almost a single spell. Here's the push for WildTurtle, goes for the next kill. Gonna let them run away, but the turrets are going to fall. The next is gonna follow right afterwards, and FlyQuest convincingly take game 1 over Evil Geniuses.
What a performance to start this off, as they're gonna pad the KDA a little bit more. FlyQuest just stomped EG. 14,000 gold lead, sub 30-minute win. 4 Dragons to 0, 2 Rift Heralds to 0, 1 Baron to 0. This was just utter domination, and EG are going to have a little bit of a mental reset here going into game number 2, because that one was not even close. There was individual mistakes. There was coordination errors. I do think that they were playing better as a team towards the later stages of the game, but at that point they were so far behind that it no longer mattered. But when it counted in those early fights, they made too many mistakes. And FlyQuest, if they're in this sort of form, you're not going to get to make many mistakes at all at any point of the game if you want to take a team that's looking that good down.
Yeah, felt like it really snowballed off that 6-minute bot lane play where the gank went well, the TPs went badly, and the 3-0 turned into everything else that FlyQuest could have wanted. But like you said, could be a mental reset. There's more to play in this best of 5. We'll see if EG can bounce back. But that does it for game 1. After a quick break, the State Farm NLSS will break down the results from that one, so don't go anywhere.
Welcome to Assist of the Day, brought to you by State Farm. Today's assist comes from FlyQuest and TSM's quarterfinal matchup where the Emperor decides. Santorin, stealing Raptors, baits TSM into a fight in which PowerOfEvil was able to divide and conquer.
Solo coming in from the side. PowerOfEvil low on mana. Solo still here fighting on the front line. Broken Blade taken very low. The Haymaker not quite able to take him down. They're still chasing after Dardoch. The axes are flying.
Fun to drive wherever you go. The first ever CRV hybrid with all-wheel drive standard. The best-selling CUV over the last decade now comes as a hybrid. From Honda.
Welcome back to the State Farm Analyst Desk and the Championship Qualifier, where FlyQuest took Game 1 versus Evil Geniuses. So very much the story of two best of fives, because the first time around, Game 1 went the other way, gentlemen. But FlyQuest with a statement game here in Game number 1.
Yeah, I mean, the first time, it was also in FlyQuest's favor, but they just had a mid-game throw at Baron. So, once again, they're able to grab early-game leads. They've actually grabbed a ton of early-game leads over the course of the postseason. They've been incredible at it. They did have a hiccup in the mid-game, but this time it didn't get completely away from them.
Yeah, probably. Let's take a look at the matchup holistically, the strategies that each team came in with, because EG reached for some interesting stuff here in the first game of the series.
Yeah, the Zilean Graves. I'm not completely positive if the Zilean was a response to the Blitz, because I understand there's a way where Blitz hooks someone and now it's kind of denied in the way that you can just deny the pick. But I do think this is going to be a very teamfight focused series. So EG going for the Zilean, Kalista, and Taric means they want a teamfight comp. So this looks like what I'm kind of expecting to see is these big teamfight kind of compositions that come online mid-game.
Look, Ja, what's your opinion here? Because looking at those damage numbers between Jiizuke and PowerOfEvil, that's the thing that scares me, just based on the way we know Jiizuke likes to play. But how do you feel about the composition holistically? Is this a viable comp?
So, okay, PoE did a 1k DPM, and by the end of the game had 987 AP, so he showed up. But so when the Zilean got locked, I said between this chat, hey, I don't think that's a good pick for Jiizuke. Right. Like, I just don't see him playing that well. When I look at the champions, and I looked at some of the ways the mid to late game fights were playing out for EG, I think that comp can work. It's the Zilean speeding in this fed phase rush Graves, who then can combo initiation with Kalista Taric to extend the team fight and theoretically win. But they just made so many mistakes in the early game that the game completely ran away from them, whether it was Solo being 4-0 or PoE being 4-0, which were both true in the mid game, but it ran away from them, so they never let their comp.
Right, nice to see them try things, fell short this time around. For those of you watching on ESPN, you're heading to a quick break. We'll catch you here on the other side. For those of us who remain on Twitch, YouTube, and other platforms, we'll continue our discussion around this first game because, again, I think it's important to separate, as it seems we are, the composition from the play. Because maybe that composition, if I see Bjergsen holding that Zilean, I all of a sudden become a lot more confident in the results than, let's say, with Jiizuke at the helm, on Zilean specifically.
Right, and I think it's the situation that jumps to everyone's mind is that bot lane play where you just TP in the middle of everyone. Yeah, there's not many champions.
Not in the middle. He TP'd out a flank behind them.
Yeah, the flanking Zilean TP.
Ooh, the 1.0 KDA.
Oh, baby, that's what you like to see. I mean, to be fair to Jiizuke, when he has bad games, they're bad games because he's an aggressive player. But I think even if he made that TP play on another champion, which also might have died, I would expect him to recover better in a lot of ways. And I don't think it would knock him out of the game, whereas he was basically a non-factor. The things that worked well for EG were almost exclusively because of Bang and Zeyzal and Svenskeren. I don't remember too many impactful ults, even in the mid game where they were winning some fights. Even Kumo's Ornn was having a bigger influence in setting up those fights. And so I think to Jat's point, this comp can make sense, especially against the Trundle, who is notoriously weak into Graves. Like, this was an okay time for it. Maybe the enemy's backline is a little bit scary, which I kind of felt like, but even then, just the Zilean on Jiizuke did not appeal to me, and I hope I don't see it again the rest of the series.
I think, yeah, a good rule of thumb is like when you see the Zilean having to ult himself in a team fight, that's usually like, all right, this guy's mispositioning or not playing the pick right, because he needs to be ulting someone who's getting caught or enabling someone to go forward by giving them the ultimate.
Right, even with a major deficit, we did see, I think, one skirmish where the team comp of EG kind of came together and they were able to eke out a minor victory. But again, at the end of the day, all for naught when FlyQuest came out the gate so hot. And so I want to now talk a little bit more about how EG can reframe towards game 2, because I think, Mark, you said it very well there. When Jiizuke has a bad game, he has a bad game, right? And it's got the ability to look disastrous then for EG as a whole. But I also think that this is a squad that's very capable of shrugging off the first loss and saying, all right, we tried something, it didn't work, let's go back to what we know works.
I'm just saying, EG had blue side in game 1. They lost. We said the comp can work. They picked blue side.
I don't want
game
another
two.
salty run back. I do not.
Forward dash.
I don't want it.
What have we? I mean, is this the honorary TSM? Is that what FlyQuest has become? Do we run this one back just to double check?
I don't.
Double check if
is that what you want? Is that what you would ask for?
No, it's not. It's not.
There are elements.
It would be entertaining though.
There are elements I think I would like to see run.
All right,
back.
what are the
I
elements
really
that worked? What are the elements that worked?
I like the Ornn, and I like the Kalista Taric. I thought their first phase, which is where I believe all those picks came in, were great for EG, and I really like that part.
Let's talk about Bang then, because probably I know from your win conditions that Bang was a major part of the success there for Evil Geniuses. How did you feel about his game 1 performance, even in the loss?
Yeah, I was really happy with Bang and the way he played, especially because they had control of bot lane almost the whole game, even after that kind of disastrous TP play where it kind of snowballed the top side of the map too. So the way he was playing teamfights, I think, is really good. Their 3v2 dive they took bot lane, I think actually Zeyzal misplayed that, and I thought Bang was playing it correctly. So I think if they tweak a little bit of the things, they can actually come away with more in the bot lane than they even did this game.
Well, as we welcome back our ESPN audience, Mark, I want to continue this discussion about the minor tweaks then that EG can utilize here from blue side. Jad already mentioned they're going to stay on blue side. You said you liked the core of Kalista, Ornn, and Taric. How would you maybe augment that core to be more successful this time around?
Something that's a little bit easier ganking early on. Graves is a little bit difficult to, if Bang's having another great game, you want something that's better for snowballing it. Graves is more of a find the Trundle and beat him up in the jungle than a go bot lane and turbo camp. And you saw how high the jungle proximity difference actually was. Graves was down there a lot, but it's just a little bit harder to set things up. I think the other thing too is I'm wondering what FlyQuest will do in response, because the Blitzcrank was an interesting idea, but I did not get my Super Saiyan IgNar that I was hoping for. They actually were struggling in laning phase a little bit.
How Saiyan was he?
He had
was
that one nice blind hook.
Minorly Saiyan?
Right?
Like on a scale from not at all to super, how Saiyan was he, huh?
He was like the Slug, Lord Slug arc, where there's a bunch of fake Super Saiyans.
Yeah.
Is that too technical? Does anyone?
It was right over my head, but there's some people out there who appreciate that analogy. I'm certain of it.
There's a couple of DBZ fans are like, I got that one.
Jad, what are your thoughts here? Adjustments for EG going into game 2?
I kind of agree that the Ornn, Kalista, Taric are the elements that were working for them, and it is the mid jungle. My suggestion would be Lee Sin, because like if FlyQuest is willing to just opt into a run back and not change anything, which, because they won so quickly, is actually somewhat realistic, and then the only thing they would theoretically be changing would be their second phase, I could see a lot of the draft playing out the same way, and then EG just switching to Lee Sin with their last.
Oh my goodness! All right, well, probably let's imagine that the draft largely plays out similar. Maybe an adjustment here or two, give or take, a champion. What would you want to see changed in execution, maybe for Evil Geniuses? Is the focus? Does it need to go to a different lane? What's the solve?
Man, for the focus, that's a hard question.
That's what I'm here for. I'm not helping you. I'm here to ask the hard questions.
I do believe playing around bot side is correct for them. I think Jiizuke can be left more on an island.
Okay.
And then once bot lane is unlocked, then they move their resources to mid lane. So I think focusing around bot is more important, especially because like IgNar picking Blitz, like that's not a counter to Kalista Taric by any means. It's literally just like, IgNar, you're on a playmaker, so go do it. So yep. I think they're sacrificing their bot lane laning phase a bit to give IgNar more comfort, and I think that's where they can start punishing stuff more often.
Evil Genius is looking for the response. We're only one game into the series, so lots of runway for both teams. But after this short break, we do return to the series for game 2, so don't go anywhere.